Alright, welcome. If you're new to the channel, my name's Elliott and you're watching Rickety Ski Reviews. Today we're going to talk about something a little bit more serious. We're going to talk about the Redbull helmet and just the insane pursuit for freeride and freestyle skiers, mountain bikers, athletes in general to get one of these Redbull helmets, and more importantly, the extremes they go to get one of these Redbull sponsorships. And I'm going to give you my opinion on all of the injuries that people have gotten in this pursuit and the fact that Redbull is still continuing to promote a more and more dangerous culture in the ski community. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but honestly, I have seen so many injuries. Months ago, I made this meme. It was the character Homelander from The Boys, and he's just going perfect. And he's got a Redbull helmet and a camera, and it's like when a 17-year-old nearly cripples himself for life. And I made that just like, I think I picked a random number, and people were like, oh, is he talking about this? Or are you talking about this? Or are you talking about this? And it led me down this rabbit hole of all of these athletes that have been injured. So without further ado, let's talk about the culture of risk in skiing and why I think Redbull needs to chill out. So first off, when I was looking into this, the crazy part about finding injured Redbull athletes is that it's not hard to find. Redbull has tons of news articles on their own website talking about athletes' injuries, their road to recovery. That is insane to me. The fact that like there is just a laundry list of athletes that are injured on Redbull's own website seems like incredibly unself-aware. But let's just talk about a couple of them. In 2013, free skier suffered an accident. He says, and I quote, "I knew instantly that I was paralyzed." And this is according to Redbull's own site. On December 16, 2013, while coaching freestyle skiing in Colorado, Mike Shaw, a 27-year-old, suffered an accident that changed his life. He was trying to perform a nose butter 720. He said that he got into some soft punchy snow, similar to my accident actually. And on landing, he said he basically pitched forward onto his head and neck in a scorpion-like motion. His feet rose up over his head and he quote unquote dislocated his neck, paralyzing himself from the neck down. And I quote, "I basically Pez dispensered myself," says Mike, referring to how his head and neck bent backwards, displacing his neck and vertebrae. Long story short, he had a bunch of like spinal inflammation. The surgeon was able to do like a really good job. He ultimately recovered years later and was able to ski again. But he had to go through numerous surgeries, tons of rehab and therapy, and it took him nearly a decade to walk again. I understand that this is like, I'm glad that he's okay, but the insanity of Redbull to post this as like a inspirational story when it's happening kind of under their purview is insane to me. Now, I'm not delusional. I know that skiing is just inherently dangerous. Anyone who's signed a lift ticket waiver is basically saying skiing is a dangerous activity and, you know, you're kind of taking your life in your own hands. That being said though, it doesn't have to be this dangerous. You don't need to Pez dispenser yourself. I love watching freestyle skiing. I think it's cool, but is it really worth it in the big picture of your life versus doing a cool trick or trying to get a Redbull helmet? Is it really worth it? And the fact that Redbull co-signs this stuff is just insane. Let's find another one. In 2023, G. Atherton shares injury update, Redbull Rampage 2023. Okay, so G posted on Instagram, "Heavy day yesterday testing out the new drop on my Rampage run, and a combo of slightly deep and a bit of wind gust meant I couldn't ride it out. Injuries are not too bad though. Some fractures to vertebrae and a few skull fractures will mean I'll have to chill for a few weeks. What hurts the most is missing this event on Friday, especially after the dig crew have been putting in such an effort. Big thanks to the medical crew." This is also another Redbull event. Look at this drop. I mean, you're looking at least a 40 to 50 foot drop minimum, and the conditions just weren't quite right. I can't believe Redbull co-signs this stuff. It just gets more and more extreme. Everything with Redbull, it's like, oh, it has to just go to the nth degree. Oh, this cool trick, that's not enough. We need to push it farther and farther. And honestly, the sad part is that, oh, I have to sit it out. I'm really bummed that I can't do the event from these athletes. But dude, you have a skull fracture, fractures to your vertebrae. You're lucky that you'll ever walk again. This is insanity. And like, oh, I can't wait to get back at it. I just like, I don't understand it. I don't understand not caring about yourself that much that you're willing to just risk your life over and over again. And the crazier part to me is that a company like Red Bull basically co-signs it. Again, these are all my opinions, okay? And I'm just reading articles from either Red Bull or newspapers. So Red Bull, don't waste your money on a lawyer, okay? I'm just giving the facts here and my humble opinions. But as somebody who is not a lawyer, but has at least done 1 year of law school, I find this stuff crazy. Also, before I forget, please consider liking and subscribing. That's a free way to support the channel. We also have memberships so you can see videos early. I will have listed down below all the skis that I use. If you're shopping for skis, that's a free way to support the channel as well. But anyway, I always forget that stuff, so let's jump back into the video. Alright, the US Sun had a really interesting article called Deadly Stunts Inside Red Bull Tragedies from Plane Crash That Killed 3 to Extreme Skiers Avalanche Death as New Stunt Goes Wrong. So this basically runs through a bunch of documented Red Bull injuries. You had one where they were basically trying a new stunt where you have people in airplanes jumping out of one airplane and skydiving out of it and then back into the airplane, or switching airplanes. In 2020 you had one that killed a pilot. In 2022 you had one go wrong where no one was injured, but the FAA is investigating the crash. Basically it went wrong, but both of the people were able to get out. One went into their plane, the other one missed, and they were able to get out in a parachute. In 2020 you had a similar stunt reported by the New York Post that did fail. That did kill people. They redid it in 2022. Luckily 2022 no one was injured, but they had 3 people die in 2022. Okay, let's read this. Another daring stunt involving a Red Bull branded plane in Guatemala in 2020 killed a pilot and 2 women on the ground. New York Post reported horrifying videos shared by the news outlet showed the plane doing several airborne tricks before slamming into the ground. The Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association reported the plane crashed into a ramp during practice for an air show. It is with great sadness that the team Chambliss confirms that our friend and pilot Steve Andelin, along with 2 spectators, lost their lives at a private air show in Guatemala, Team Chambliss said on Facebook. Steve Andin was flying a plane which carried Red Bull branding owned by Kirby Chambliss. We are deeply shocked and extend our deepest sympathies to families involved in the tragic accident, the Post said. The Red Bull team, so you had them trying to get out of the plane. They didn't make it. One of the pilots died. And then 2 people just watching, just bystanders, watching this Red Bull event or Red Bull branded plane died. It keeps going. In 2016, an extreme skier dies. The US Sun reports the Red Bull team lost one of its athletes in 2016 when extreme skier Matilda Rappaport died following injuries sustained in an avalanche. The 30-year-old from Sweden was taking part in a film shoot for her sponsor, Red Bull. In a sponsored film shoot? It is with great sadness that we announce Matilda Rappaport has passed away after she was caught in an avalanche while filming in Chile on July 14th, Red Bull sent a statement. Despite intensive medical care and treatment over subsequent days, it wasn't possible to save her life. Why do we keep doing this? I can't believe that no one in a court of law has held these people culpable. I'm not saying that I'm not giving legal advice, I'm not giving a legal opinion because I am not a lawyer, but my personal opinion is I am surprised, and Red Bull, while not forcing anyone to do anything, seems to cultivate this culture of upping the ante with each trick. This will be the new first trick, this will be the new stunt. We're gonna have a guy go from low orbit down, we're gonna have people in planes going through London, big mountain skiing, we're gonna have people do bigger tricks. It seems like this culture of inciting bigger and bigger tricks, it only leads one way. All right, let's keep going. The US Sun also reports wingsuit flyer's death. The body of Daredevil wingsuit flyer Victor Kovacs was found at the foot of a 328-foot cliff in China in 2013 at a World Championships. So in this case, it looks like Red Bull owns the league. The Red Bull World Wingsuit League confirmed the death in a statement shared by CNN at the time. We are deeply saddened by Victor Kovacs' passing, and our thoughts and prayers go out to his parents, friends during these difficult times. The statement read, "He will always be remembered for his passion for life and his spirit for adventure. He will always be sadly missed in the wingsuit community." Another intense situation came out to qualifying for the Red Bull Valparaiso Cerro Abajo in Chile in February 2022. Video shows mountain biker Bernard Kerr tumbling to the ground while racing down a concrete stairwell. What is this? Okay, the insane Red Bull VCA urban downhill in Chile was crazier than ever with my huge finals crash. We're all okay, he wrote, adding, the urban downtown racing is insane and no joke. Okay, let's watch the video. I'm gonna regret this probably. This is crazy. Like, this is just, and this isn't even all the ones I've seen. This is just a handful of people that have gotten into huge wrecks, either died or been seriously injured, been paralyzed, or nearly injured. And that's not even mentioning all of the people who get injured just in the pursuit of a Red Bull sponsorship, seeing this stuff. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay, let's just watch this video. Here we go. Yeah, this doesn't look sketchy at all. This looks like a totally controlled environment. Are you joking me? Okay, whatever. Let's see the crash. God, that is one thing you never want to hear. I've had that happen where you crash and you're, oh! I've had it with ski races, I've had it with big crashes in general, but nothing like this. I mean, that runway was so narrow, and of course, you're just gonna take like one banister to clip through. Also, Red Bull does this weird thing where after an athlete gets injured, they will not only document their recovery, but in some cases even film it. Like here you've got recovery through film, the healing agent for Mike Shaw's injury. The healing agent. I don't know. This seems like insult to injury. Do they monetize these videos? I don't know. It's weird. Maybe other people find it endearing, but for me, I just find it kind of insulting. Like, hey, we monetize, you know, through advertising and everything, these really extreme sports, but then when you get injured, we're gonna monetize that as well in a film. It's like we got them coming and going. Or maybe they do it out of their own pocket and they're like, you know, it's a lot cheaper than a lawsuit, a film. I don't know, I'm just speculating here. I don't actually have any inside information. It's weird too, it's like because the ski community doesn't have any real media that's good anymore. Like we lost Ski Magazine really, we lost Ski Racing Magazine. It feels like nobody's calling these people out, so maybe that's my job now. But you know what I honestly want to show you? Let's just talk about the video that set this off for me. I've seen so many ski and mountain bike accidents for people who are kind of wanting to be Red Bull athletes or who are maybe replicating what Red Bull athletes do in hopes of becoming that. And how else do you do that, right? If you want to become a Red Bull athlete, well, you have to go out there, show that you can do these big tricks. So I had this video sent to me by Zach, who you've seen on the channel before. He sent me this, and I always talk about this, how crazy it is that we keep ramping up the difficulty and dangers of skiing with all this stuff. So this is from the mothership. Yesterday, while out filming an application video for Red Bull Rampage, I took a tumble and was airlifted to Dunedin Hospital. However, I was miraculously cleared of broken bones. I am sore and stiff today though. This is by far the biggest drop I have ever attempted. The drop was measured 42 feet lip to landing and 52 feet to where I landed. The equivalent of a 5-story building. Came in slightly too hot and safety pulled off the lip, which just sent me too far and made it impossible to hold on to the bike. All right, let's watch it. Yeah! Oh, Jesus. Oh! I'm not a mountain biking expert. I'm not. I know my way around skiing, but I really don't know that much about mountain biking other than I mountain bike myself. And I see no room for wiggle room. You have a big berm there at the end. You have no area where you can kind of get rid of speed. This just seems dangerous. It's not even cool. It's just really dangerous. What's the point of this, right? Like, these are supposed to be lifetime sports for athleticism, for getting outside. It seems to me like this stuff completely misses the point of the beauty that I find in skiing and in mountain biking. These are supposed to be fun things that get you outdoors, that get you active, that get you doing things that are fun. And yes, they can be dangerous and there is some risk, but it doesn't need to be this much. It can be a little bit more measured. And the fact that Red Bull has just kind of enjoyed the fruits of this risk over and over and over again seems gross and sick to me. So I don't know if I can sustain it, but I am gonna try to stop drinking Red Bull. I don't want to keep supporting this. I don't want to have any hand in this. even though I'm just a drop in the bucket for such a giant company. Yeah, I'm gonna try to switch back to yerba mate's lemon elation, I guess. I love Red Bull, I like the taste of it, but it's not good for me, and it's not good for the sport of skiing. Like, similar to how that stuff is not good for your body, Red Bull in the sport of skiing, as far as I can tell, and mountain biking, isn't healthy for our sport. It's great that they're supporting it, but they've gotten this image now of extreme sports, and they just keep pushing people further and further. What's the point of any of this if you can't walk again? You know what I mean? Like, coolness versus risk on a graph, and it's like all risk and the coolness only gets slightly bigger. You know what I mean? It's got kind of like a curve to it where you're getting diminishing returns from this. I don't want to watch anything where somebody could be injured. Even if they do it successfully or they walk away from it like this guy, I don't want to see it. It makes no sense to me risking your future. I always say this about professional athletics or any kind of sport. There's more to life. You know what I mean? There are other things going on in your life. You need to have other hobbies outside of this one thing, and being able to risk your entire existence, your ability to be mobile, your ability to even if you do walk away from it, to be the same into your older years isn't worth it to me. I get the coolness, but it seems short-sighted. Maybe I'm totally out in left field. That tends to be the case, but I would love to know what you think. What do you guys think? Is this stuff good? Is it good for the sport? Or are you sick of seeing people either totally destroy themselves or get pretty close? You guys typically have pretty cool insight in this, so this is no exception. I'd love to know what you think. But anyway, that's the end of the video. If you like this kind of content, please consider liking and subscribing. That's a free way to support the channel. I'll also list all of the 4th of July sales that I found. They're still going on. But more than anything, just thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. This stuff doesn't make me very popular, right? I tend to not get a lot of brands that want to talk to me when I am being critical, but I don't know, somebody's got to call this stuff out, so it might as well be me, because I've never really cared about being popular, and this is no exception. So, as always, thanks for being here, thanks for watching, thanks for taking time out of your day, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. See ya.